Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and yes, we've been having an amazing time so far. Uh, Today is a very special day because today we trace our roots. We go back to our locality to celebrate those who, in my own opinion, shape the very society we live in. Yes, those who dedicate themselves to making sure that the foundation upon which this country stands is a solid one. Yes, I'm talking about our mothers, grandmothers, those beautiful women that are still in the rural places of this great country, Nigeria. If I have my way, everywhere is rural. Even Abuja here is very rural because there are people who come from this place and still live here as well as practice their customs, culture, and tradition in this very same city. This morning, I have the rare honor to welcome to the studio Nanko Kumbim. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Abuja.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, Nanko is someone who you could say is a representation of a rural woman. In fact, she's a rural woman ambassador. She speaks for the rural women, she advocates for them, and of course, she brings issues related to the rural women to the public so that we can discuss and find ways to proffer solutions. Good morning
Good
and
morning.
happy International Day of the Rural Woman.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Now let's when we look at you, you look sophisticated. You're not looking like the rural women we know. So how did you get to become their ambassador and speak for them?
Thank you so much for honoring the rural women this morning. First of all, I'd like to say categorically that rural women are like any other woman out there in the city. The only difference is the location. And so if you are in a rural area, you have the privilege and the mindset to look at the way you want. So that's why, if though I look sophisticated, but I'm rural to the very core. And I'm sure most women who are in the urban areas are the same.
Yes, you see, it buttresses my point when I said I believe everybody is rural. It just and even the location is still rural because what we call the city is bearing that designation because we decided to call it so. But it is home to people who feel who do the rural things or like to live the way we call the rural way of life. Well, this morning we're celebrating the rural woman. And we
Yes.
understand that for a country of over 200 million people, uh, our mothers, our women, our sisters, grandmothers that are in the rural places, we have them to thank because the role they play in food security and sustainability cannot be underplayed. However, this morning we want to draw attention to their plights, some of the challenges they face. What are those things that we could uh, do to make their lives better? At least let's give them back for all they have given us. In your opinion, can you describe the Nigerian rural woman for us and what's in your opinion is her challenges?
Okay, I would first like to say that the rural woman is the backbone of any nation before we go global. So now, the rural woman contributes about 60% through agriculture and its value chain to a nation's GDP. She goes to the farm, she processes the products from the farm, she distributes, she plays vital roles at every level of food production. And it's because of her that we have food and then food security to a certain level, even though right now food security is a major issue globally due to certain factors. Now, I believe rural women have not really been impacted fairly. And that's why I'm called the Rural Women Ambassador, because they have something to say. But typically, if you look at the lives of rural women, it seems they are oblivious. because people look at them from the negative end of life, to be pitied, or they are disadvantaged, or the people look down on them. Let me use that word. But in real sense, because I've interacted with rural women since we started this project through the NGO that I run, since 2019, we have started active activities of empowerment. So we interact a lot with rural women. And I began to realize that these women are really very strong women. They have everything it takes to be successful, just like any other woman globally, because they have the same potentials, it's equal. The only disadvantage they have is that they are located in the rural environment, and we all know that rural is a place where it's not urban, so it's majorly for agriculture. You don't have skyscrapers, you don't have the infrastructure that modern cities have. That's the disadvantage they have, and that way they are not able to have access to better healthcare systems. They don't have access to better education, and so that's the only limitation they have. Now, as individuals, because of the environment they find themselves, they have to go into agriculture. So, well, that is how God puts people in different areas for different reasons. So, if they found themselves at that level, what is their strength? Their agriculture. So now, even in that space, over time, because of the gender issues that we have globally, and over time, many years now, gender issues, gender inequality is a major factor and a problem. So they are disadvantaged because of the gender, not because of their productivity, no, but because they are female. And so you see, I tried to say, okay, I have to be a voice to speak up, because I am rural, but I am advantaged to be in the city. But then I've seen what they are going through. So I felt, okay, we need to project, let their voice be heard. What do they have to say to their leaders, to the government, to those who can impact their lives positively? They have a story to tell. And so all we need to do is to hear them. What do you need? What are the policies that will better their lives? These are the things that rural women need. And even in terms of agriculture, like this year's theme is rural women cultivating good food for all.
Yes.
Now, even these women who are busy cultivating good food, processing it, distributing it, at all the levels of food production, they are involved fully. Now, they are the ones that don't own the land. And so you see them, they are still poor, not because they don't have the capacity to be rich, but because they don't own land due to socio-cultural, factors. These are some of their challenges. And even at the distribution of the food that phase, they have challenges with middlemen. So these are some of their challenges that needs to be addressed.
We are having this conversation today. It's a day that has been set aside to at least celebrate the rural woman.
Yes.
Now, you are an ambassador, and this excites me because to finally meet somebody who is speaking for the rural woman is something that is gladdening to the heart. So,
Thank you.
from your interactions with them, especially through your NGO, can you share with us some of the things that, some of the ways that you've been able to at least advocate for them as well as bring development to their lives?
Thank you so much for this question. It's a huge challenge. It's a huge, huge challenge to actually bring this project or idea to the forefront, where those who can, intervene or make a change to the issue bothering around rural women, can have access to the information. When you don't have access to information that is going to help you, you just wallow in ignorance. Yeah, so it's a challenging terrain, but there are some things when you have a passion, natural passion for it, you just keep going despite all. So how the platform I'm using to advocate for rural women. It's called Media Initiative for Africa Development, where we use the media to make advocacy plans for development at different levels for women and youths, girl child, and all. So for rural women, we have been able to use the media to produce documentaries where rural women get to tell their stories by themselves, and we empower them, and then monitor the activities, which are basically petty trading or farming, to see that, okay, what we are giving to them, how are they using it? And then we study their processes, how they go about all these things. And I realized that these women are very strong and resilient women. You give them a little, and they magnify it. They double it.
Multiply.
Yes, they multiply it. And their level of resilience is something else. I've not seen it in city women. City women don't have resilience. But these women at that level, I don't know whether it's because of the harshness of life there naturally that they have been able to build a thick skin. But they are not dulling. Let me just use that
Wow.
word. They are
Well, there
not
you have it.
dulling.
They are not dulling, and this is coming from the ambassador for rural women.
As
Thank you so much.
yeah.
You wanted to say
Yeah, I
something?
wanted to say something like presently we have been doing projects from 2019, but this year we decided to, diversify a bit, where we are using radio programming to, tell the stories of rural women.
Amazing.
Yeah, so they tell their story then, so that the communities are listening, people will listen and try to reach out to them for sponsorships of their projects and whatever
That is
they're
very
doing.
interesting. The radio is a very viable medium for this project because, of course, they are rural. Rural places like electricity or some basic amenities. And with the radio, they could just be
Yeah,
able to access
agree.
information. That's
Yes,
brilliant. Well
yes.
done to you and your
Thank
team.
you.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you for what you're doing and at least bringing the world's attention to the plight of the Nigerian rural woman.
Thank you.
Well, this morning it's an interesting morning because we are commemorating the International Day for Rural Women. And if you, as lucky as I've been, uh, especially in the area of eating food that are prepared from these rural places, that's where the magic happens. There's no Maggi, no salt, nothing, and then they give you a pot of soup, no meat, no fish, but when you eat it, for days the aroma fills your breath, and you just know
True.
that yes, I've had a very wonderful meal.
True.
So we must say kudos to our mothers, our sisters, our grandmothers, aged ones who are in the rural places and continue to live and survive in what we would term harsh conditions. But trust me, some of them will not leave that place for all the
No.
glitters and gold that the city life offers. We'll be speaking with Nanko Kumbin, who is an ambassador for the rural women. Thank you so much for coming to the studio and on
Thank
the
you for
show.
having me.
Yes. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, so we have to run along. But before we go, let me tell you that you could do something for the rural women. You could follow up on some of these projects that Nanko has spoken about, or you could just pay a visit, say by the weekend, to one of the rural places and appreciate the women
Yeah.
by spending time with them. Uh, we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, there's still much on the program. Stay with us. Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and this morning our advocacy is headed towards demystifying the ailment or the disease known as cancer. Yes, this is something that used to be, it was not a major thing back in the days. Like we didn't used to have this kind of disease here in Africa, or maybe we had and we didn't know we used to have them. Whatever the case is, it's here now, and we need to rise up to the challenge of managing or totally eradicating cancer if that is something that is doable. This morning, I am being joined in the studio by some passionate Nigerians whose dedication to seeing a better society is driven strongly to the point that they have decided to ensure that they up their ante and push for stronger advocacy on issues of cancer. I'm talking about representatives from the Arewa Cancer Control Coalition. Please join me as I welcome Ummi Musa Umar, who is a cancer advocate and the convener of Arewa Cancer Control Coalition. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, sir.
Yes. And of course, we also have Dr. Mutu Maude, who also is a DD, that is Deputy Director of Pharmacy Health Service and Environmental Secretariat of the Federal Capital Territory Administration. And she's also the coordinator, Arewa Cancer Control Coalition. You're welcome to the studio this
Thank
morning,
you very
ma'am.
much.
Yes. They say when women take on a matter, then you should know that whatever that matter is, it is resolved. So, seeing women championing the cause of this advocacy this morning, if I was cancer, I would be scared because, yes, it's about to get knocked down. Good morning and thank you for coming on the show.
Good morning. Just to add to what you said, our motto is Amazons for Ariwa.
Wow.
You know what an Amazon
And
is?
Amazon, we know an Amazon. Amazon is a fighter. She's out there bringing down men. And so, Cancer should be scared. Now, Amazons are here for you, Cancer. So thank you for coming on the program. This morning, we want to look at the challenges in assessing treatment and care, especially in underserved communities. I've heard people say cancer is a big man's disease because of the nature of even the diagnosis of the cancer, treating or managing, and all of that. So if it's such a Herculean task, then the rural places are in deep trouble. Now, this is where you come in, especially that your advocacy is centered first in the Arewa. And of course, to our viewers, you know what Arewa represents as northern Nigeria. There are 19 northern states, and that means a common front here. The large bulk of Nigeria is the people you're targeting. Now, let's talk about this, your coalition. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, Ariwa Cancer Control Coalition is a group of passionate NGOs, that's a civil society organizations,
Okay.
Organizations, and also individuals
Hmm.
whose major objective is to help tackle the menace of cancer. The name is written Ariwa because we want to, first of all, dive into giving a region-specific approach, being that if you look at the current situation of lack of awareness when it comes to cancer and deaths from cancer, and the rate of late presentation for cancer, it is worse in northern Nigeria. So as we live here and we are from here, we are starting with that, but that is not a boundary for us. The horizon is our limit because we are going beyond Ariwa, the whole of Nigeria, Africa, and the world at large. But the major objective is to begin one region at a time. Right now, like this year, we are concentrating on the 19 northern states and the FCT.
Okay.
This idea was conceived last year when we are all on our own separately doing our things with the same passion. I think it's over a year when I met her. Yes. And our first connection was talking about cancer. I gave a talk in a group and then we got talking later and she was telling me about her experience with cancer. And we just thought from there that when we come together, there is something that can be done. So in October, when I did my October awareness through my NGO Call of Cancer Initiative, I found that the most difficult part of advocacy is reaching the grassroots level with information and with what they need to know. Because as an advocate, I could convince people to go for screening, to take preventive measures. But if the facilities are not there, if a woman calls me and tells me, it happened last year, a woman told me, I saw your post on Facebook and I'm convinced that I need to start doing cancer screening. I live in Nasarawa State and I need you to direct me where I can go get it done. But then there was no functioning mammography machine then in her state. So it was very difficult for me to tell her, you have to travel to Abuja to come and get it done. So we just knew that there were a lot of issues that we need to tackle. Another thing, it was very easy to reach people that have smartphones in their hands, they have access to the internet. But then the grassroots people that need the information the most, because over the course of my work, I know that most advanced cases are coming from rural areas because they don't know the symptoms, they don't know preventive measures, they don't know how to check. It is when cancer comes out glaring that they now come to the hospital, and it's mostly now for palliative care because it is beyond a recovery. So that was what made us to come together. And on World Cancer Day, uh, February this year, we inaugurated the Ariwa Cancer Control Coalition. And since then, we have been going one step at a time, seeing how our approach can be palpable in the region that we are concentrating on right now.
Amazing. I'd like to say congratulations to you for being able to come together, especially since you have a common a cause that a common mission in this case. And this is really beautiful. Like I said earlier, if I was cancer, I'll be scared now. But now let me come to you, Dr. Rambutu. Uh, when she was talking, she mentioned you have an experience with cancer. I would like to explore that. Is it something you would like to share with us, your experience?
Yes. I would say it's not me personally, but
Okay.
indirectly, people that were very close to me were affected by cancer. First of all, it started with my mom who had breast cancer. But I would say, Alhamdulillah, it was detection was early, which is not something that many people are able to, it's not something that some people have the advantage of getting. Yes, she was able to be diagnosed early. There was early detection, so it was localized, and her treatment, I would say, went smoothly. We had a lot of emotional, physical, financial instabilities, but things went well. She's a survivor now, getting to, I think, 7 years.
Wow, amazing.
Yes. Then
Amazing.
next came my husband, prostate cancer, but unfortunately, he didn't survive it.
Oh.
Then after that, a very close friend of mine who I regarded who I regard as a sister, also got affected with skin cancer. But alhamdulillah, also she's a survivor now. So that is how cancer really affected me. I am a survivor also.
The challenges now of especially the rural people, the underserved regions, because already these places have challenges of even basic health care. There is that challenge assessing what we call a primary health center is such a big deal, not to now talk of even being diagnosed with the proper kind of diagnosis that will reveal if they have cancerous cells or if they are suffering from cancer, or even navigating how they can get treatments. And some of the cancer treatments, when we hear about them, here chemotherapy, this one, I heard is not a small change. So please share with us using your position now in the FCTA as well as your experience.
I would say that the main problem, as Umi mentioned, is first of all the awareness. After getting the awareness, for them to even when they see symptoms that they're supposed to go to the hospital, getting the care becomes a problem because they have to move out of their comfort zone. You understand, and the issue of even the financial whatever they don't have. So it becomes very difficult. So that is where we come in, and government also has started coming in with the NICRAT, yes, with the National Cancer
Institute for Cancer Research and
yes,
Treatment.
so government, is realizing that they really need to come in. Things are being put in place, policies and so on, so that early diagnosis, you understand, treatment, probably cancer treatment will probably go into the national health
Insurance scheme, that
yes.
would
That is
really
also,
help.
I believe, in the offing. Then because of the passion also that government and NGOs and other passionate individuals like us have, last year Abuja became the center for where the International Cancer Week was conducted. So I believe with that, we are coming, but I still believe that government and individuals still need to do more. You understand? They need to do more because, as you said, the financial aspect of even treating cancer is a very, very big burden on families, a very big burden.
Well, just to add to what
Okay.
Dr. Ramatu said, I think, yes, patient education is paramount. Patient education and navigation is paramount. We are hopeful that with the policies being put in place, National Cancer Control Plan, we are hopeful that things are getting better. But we also have to do our part because when a woman knows that she needs to check her breast monthly to be able to detect a lump before it shows itself as cancer, then you are empowering her with the knowledge she needs to protect herself. Because if one approach that we are doing this October is we are concentrating on teaching women how to do breast self-examination. And then we are also talking about patient navigation. Last year, we launched a show, a live stream show, where we air on both Instagram and Facebook. And we invited a lot of high profile cancer advocates in the cancer space. And all we were trying to talk about is patient navigation and early detection.
Amazing.
So I happened to be at the World Cancer Congress last month in Geneva, Switzerland. And we were just looking at, the forecast, a model, a certain organization developed a model that would forecast, the burden of breast cancer over time. And we saw the one of Nigeria. It was a horror story. And when I engaged them, all they were talking about is preventive measures. Like they said, for low and middle income countries, one thing that is a solid tool that we can use is breast self-examination because it is cost effective. You teach a woman, she will do it at home. She doesn't need to go out of her comfort zone. And then she gets to detect something early before she now goes to the hospital. So that is what we're concentrating on now. We have been trying to train. I used to tell them that we're doing the 1 to tell 10 approach, 10 to tell others.
Wow.
So when we teach one woman, like right now, we are training a certain lady in Gombe State, we are training another one in Borno, and we are going to send them out to go train other women. Because this is something that even a lay person can do for themselves and understand what is to be checked out for. Because it's easy, you do it monthly. That is all. You need to just guide them, put them through. And when they understand that, then we talk about navigation. When she detects something, then what? So we are trying to educate people. Anything you feel, ranging from this to this to this, which are the symptoms, the first thing you should do is go to the hospital and ascertain that symptom by a doctor, a professional, so you'll be sure that, okay, yes, it is true, this thing is there. Or if they tell you, no, it's not there, this is normal, then you go back home and that is it.
We need to discuss this, but let's go on this very short break. When we come back, trust me, cancer is still going to get knocked down. Welcome back. The program is still Good Morning Abuja, and yes, we're discussing cancer. How do we just get cancer off Africa, especially here in Nigeria, Arewa? And that is the conversation we'll be having. And of course, Umi is still here with us, and Dr. Ramoto also is here. Now, Umi, you were telling us about some of the things that we need to know. But before this, I'm interested in knowing. I'm excited with the knowledge that your coalition that was formed in February is going strong, and you shared with us your experience from the World Cancer Convention in Geneva, and of course, some of what you saw there, what you've learned there, you've come to domesticate for us here. But now let's look at the ways which your coalition intend to achieve your objectives of making sure that awareness on cancer is there, especially in this region.
Okay, so well, before I left for the World Cancer Congress, we had already made a plan to undertake a 3 month long advocacy event.
Okay.
A 3 month long advocacy something like an intervention and see where that takes us. So we launched on the 1st of September. We had an event at BMT Gardens in Wusitu.
Okay.
We launched, and during that launch, we were talking with our coordinator, and we had another member who is also has also a foundation. She lost a daughter to blood cancer, and so she's been on blood cancers, on things that are associated with the blood and all that. You know, one of the major challenges that cancer patients get is lack of blood, because the disease and also the treatment, affects their blood level. So usually they can get anemic, and that can be lethal because they can die from that. So we thought, instead of just, launching and having people come, we had the NECRA join us, we had different organizations come, and we had some diagnostic centers that we are collaborating with to give free and discounted screening, all came to the event. And we also collaborated with the National Blood Service Agency.
Yes.
They came, and we got donors from the people that are invited to donate blood. So we were both launching the 3-month long advocacy event, and also getting some donations to be taken for cancer patients. And it was a major success.
Now, Dr. Ramutu, we are running out of time, but I need to ask you this. You know, you're adopting a regional, you have designed a regional approach to the problem, and you're trying to impact with this region first before your success probably could shape how you explore other regions. Now, this particular region has its own peculiar challenges. It's said it's the region with the highest number of illiterate people, uneducated people, and it's a region where girl child education is not
Priority.
is not a priority. And aside this, other facilities such as healthcare, good access to roads, and even the terrain bedeviled presently with the current challenges which hover around insecurity and the rest of them. It means whatever tools you are going to use to achieve your objectives must be one that should be able to cut around all of these barriers, whether tribe, culture, religion, ethnic, and all of that. So, share with us how challenging has it been for your coalition to navigate some of those things?
When you look at the problem of cancer or even healthcare, I would say it's a huge burden on everybody. But we always try to look at the positive side.
Okay.
You understand? So, as Umi said, awareness, awareness, and awareness. So, we are trying to collaborate with our governors in our states and even the traditional rulers. And I would say we can speak in any dialect. We have members that can speak in any dialect, you understand, trying to reach the targeted population. So in as much as we want that, but still government has to come in. The dream of us having a universal healthcare coverage is very, very important. So that even at the primary healthcare level, at our primary healthcare facilities, we'll be able to diagnose some people that have cancer and then offer them treatment options, you understand, and help them out when it comes to that. So I think that is how we'll be able to surmount these challenges that we have. But I can tell you that they are huge, but we are up to the task.
Amazing. I am inspired. Now I know that yes, there's a silver line, there's hope because
When we launched last
yes.
month, we invited a very known Islamic scholar,
Yes.
Sheikh Ben Abdul.
Okay.
And we also invited a very known pastor, Pastor Isaac, who happened to be also a medical physicist at National Hospital
Okay.
Abuja. So he is the person that coordinates, cancer treatment at the oncology. So
Okay.
he was both a pastor and also in the cancer treatment space.
Hmm.
So I think that made it the fact that religion or tribe is not a barrier.
Of course, of
Yes.
course. The sickness knows no religion.
Yeah.
It does not answer to any known
Deity.
sentiments or deity. It doesn't check if you're tall or short, if you're fat or slim. Once it comes, you just have to go look for help, and it does not select who helps you. It's the trained professionals who attend to you. But once more, I'd like to thank you both because the service you're rendering back to humanity is one that is selfless, one that you're not getting paid for, but may God Almighty continue to sustain and reward you. And of course, we are playing our part here by adding voice to your very loud voice already. And of course, I want to say our viewers are watching. at this very moment have gained some education. They are a bit more enlightened about the issue. But should people want to join you by way of support, how can they reach you?
We created a WhatsApp community which has all geopolitical zones within northern Nigeria, and we are inviting members from all across the country and even the diaspora to join according to your when you will get the link to the community, you join the one that is specific to your state of origin or state of residence.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Umi. Thank you, Dr. Ramutu. You're doing very well, and we are super, super proud of what you're doing. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. Trust me, I am interested in this fight against cancer. So I will take it as a personal responsibility to continue to get updates from Umi and Dr. Ramutu as to how this coalition is doing. And if there's any way we can support them, we will. That is, we and you watching us from wherever you're watching us from. The program is still Good Morning Abuja. Thank you for coming.
Thank you,
Thank you.
NTA.
It was
You've been
our
really
pleasure.
supportive
Yes.
too.
Thank you. Thank you. So let's take this short break now. When we come back, there's still a lot on the program, but stay with us.